What is this? Jim Beam Repeal Batch. I don't know what this is. This could be a bottle from 2008. Something else I've personally never seen. Not Your Father's Bourbon. The Whiskey Witch, Davis County, limited edition. Never heard of this stuff. It's like a treasure chest back there, huh? Come up with something new every time. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Whiskier. I'm gonna go pick up my brother-in-law and we are gonna go on a bourbon hunting adventure. We'll see you there. All right, y'all, so I made it to our first stop. We are at Vino Wine and Liquor. I'm actually bourbon hunting in the Oil Center, which is the old part of town in Lafayette, Louisiana. This is our first stop of the day. They're a brand new store, just opened. And literally, if you can tell, watch. Right across the street over there is our second stop, which is Champagne's Market. Not to be confused with the Champagnes in Carencro, Louisiana. Totally different Champagne's families that both own grocery stores. We're gonna go to this first stop, see you inside. I am excited to partner up with none other than Blue Note. I have been drinking Blue Note for quite some time now. It was one of those bottles that I fell in love with when I was getting into whiskey. I've got the Crossroads, I've got the Juke Joint. All of Blue Note's bourbon spends its day aging in a hot, humid climate, but at night, Memphis is known to have some really cool temperatures. Blue Note was born in Kentucky, raised in Memphis, and finished with soul. More than just a name, Blue Note is named after Memphis's deep musical roots. So you can head to bluenotebourbon.com/shop and use code Whiskier15 for 15% off of your purchase when buying the Blue Note Crossroads or Juke Joint. As always, make sure you drink responsibly. Cheers. All right, so we made it inside. Look at the shelves. They're pretty full for being a brand new store. I think they've been open maybe a month or two now. I'll ask to make sure, but we're gonna go over, see about some things. It looks like they just got a truck in. So $17.92 bottle and bond, $42.99 right there. And then this is pretty new. I've been hearing, you know, the talks, right? Because Crown Blackberry really blew up. Been hearing that the Jack Daniels might be a little better, but $25.99. I think it's a similar price as well to right here, actually. So Crown Blackberry is $29. You save a few bucks if you get the Jack Daniels. I recently did a video giving my top 5 whiskeys if you're looking to start your bourbon journey, but a lot of you that watch the channel probably already have started your bourbon journey. This one right here for 24 bucks is top of the line. I swear by it. I would even put it higher than Buffalo Trace, and I did in that list. Got Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond, $46.87. They're now rolling out store picks of the Bottled and Bond. I actually went to, when I was in Mississippi, there was one store that got a Bottled and Bond first, and that was, I believe it was Mulberry's. Mulberry's might be the name. That was in Ocean Springs area. That's what it was. Got the whiskey tree here. This is the rye. I don't see the wheat, but they have the whiskey tree rye. Yep, both of these are rye. 100 proof, $61.99 on that one, and that's batch 1 as well. Maker's Mark cash strength right here, $41.99. I asked, when I did that video too, I had some people comment saying that this would be their #1 island whiskey if you could have just one bottle for the rest of your life. I actually saw a few comments saying Maker's Mark cash strength. 46 in particular. Look at this, Grant. They got every one of the recipes. I think they're only missing one that came out this year. I thought these were pretty much all gone. But they got the OESK, OESO, OVSF, all for $45.99. It's a fantastic price. That is what I bought several. I think I'm on my 3rd now at home of the OESK. So good to see that here. Got Larceny. This is A125, $69.99 on that one as well. I actually really enjoy A125, and that's one bottle that gets better as it opens up. Got a good bit of Old Grandad. I remember when that stuff was like impossible to find when I was in Colorado. I couldn't find it anywhere, and that was a bottle that I hunted for a long time, and now I can see it on the shelf. And I keep it regularly at home as well. Redemption right here. They got Redemption bourbons, and they have ryes. That is a fantastic price. Under $30 for a whiskey. And this one is 92 proof. Straight rye whiskey. Aged no less than 2 years. I've had a couple of Redemptions that I really enjoyed. They actually had an 18-year MGP that was good, but that's, I don't know how tasty that is. If you guys know about that one, I think that's a solid price. I just don't know much about the whiskey inside. This one, kind of a hot commodity. Couldn't find those all over town for a while. 36 bucks for the Penelope Wheated. It's a solid bottle. After it opened up a little while though, I do get a little bit more barrel characteristics than I would on most wheated bourbons. It's still a very solid bottle. They have the Rosé. Good to see that price going down too. That used to be a $70 bottle. Now you can find it for $45. I love it. Peerless Toasted. Were you with me when we bought this in Baton Rouge? Okay, so we're at the meat market. I think you were with me, and I grabbed the Toasted. It is by far the best toasted bourbon that I've had yet from Peerless. I just wish that Peerless wasn't so expensive because I would buy it way more often, but it is good. Bourbon Tucker. So I still have yet to buy one, but they did send me their new coffee. So Bourbon Tucker sent me, I can't remember if it was a coffee spire that they put in the barrels or whatnot, but anyway, they sent it to me and it was pretty fantastic. I ended up making an old fashioned with it and it was great. Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirits, TYR right here. These are always solid as well. I always have one on my shelf. And for a while, this was another one that I was having a hard time finding in the city. So it's good to see that this place has. This place does have a really, like I said, a great selection for not being open that long yet. And last year, I was at Whiskey Washback in Texas, one of the festivals put on by bottle readers. But this company was here amongst a lot of companies on the shelf. But this was introduced to me last year. And I know I've talked about it a while back, but this is one that I went to the other night when I was just having some pours. I absolutely loved it. It's an American rye blended with dark port wine. So notice how it doesn't say finished. It is blended with port wine, but less than 1% of the bottle is port wine. But it's very interesting because a lot of times I've had a ton of port finishes when I drink whiskey, and you get some of that influence with this. It is like the wine, like the tannin flavors really come through along with the rye whiskey itself. And for under 40 bucks, I'm a huge fan. It's one that I love to end the night with, like a nightcap. Got Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs, A125B, 525. Probably no point in me checking for C923. I think those are long gone now. And this, like I said, is a new store, so I doubt they have that here. Okay, Angels Envy Triple Oak, New Riff Single Barrel. This was one, I did ask people what your, like if you have one bottle of all time, your island whiskey, like I was just mentioning, what would that be? And I've gotten like 5 comments that said New Riff Single Barrel, doesn't matter on which barrel. So there's some New Riff fans for sure. I'm a huge New Riff fan as well. And I agree with that comment. For 50 bucks, that is a solid bottle. Got Knob 12 on the shelf, $82.99. JT Mellick High Proof, $58.99 for that one. Still Austin Cask Strengths right here. I'm very excited for the new, I think it's a 6-year blue corn that should be coming out in the next couple of months. I don't think we're gonna see that today because I don't even think they shipped them out of the distillery yet. Me and my wife actually bought these the other day. We tasted them. I got that video. You'll probably see that video before you see this one, but those are interesting for sure. Got a lot of the Old Forester lineup, pretty much all the standard stuff right here. Very curious to see when the new 1924 is gonna be released. I actually didn't find a bottle last year of 1924. Good friend of mine, Card, now my neighbor actually, he moved next to me. He gifted me a bottle this year though, so very grateful for that because I'm almost out with my first one. And then almost missed this, but 25 bucks, Buffalo Trace bottles. And this is brand new, the new Crown Royal Chocolate. This is one that when I saw kind of people posting on the internet, I knew I had to get it. I don't know if it's a gimmicky or what, but Crown Royal Blackberry took the world by storm last year. As you can tell, you got other companies making their own now. And it was okay, but Crown Chocolate, I feel like there's some cocktails that we can make with this. So I'm definitely gonna grab this from this spot for sure. But this is a very solid selection. Can't forget the glass case back here either. Got some Heaven Hills grain to glass, the rye, and then also the Heaven Hill grain and glass bourbon right here as well. $115.99 for that one. Let's see, Doc Holiday. Which one is that? That's a 10-year Doc Holiday, the Widow Jane 15-year, and then the rest of it, it's kind of like some scotch and tequilas as well. So first stop, we got the Crown Chocolate. I was mistaken, they've been open for a month, just 1 month. But I thought this was cool. So they have like a rewards program. If you fill out every single stamp, you can pick any, they had a ton of them too, any 375 bottle for free. So if you want to try something new, they had Patron, they had like a lot of good stuff. I think that reward system is pretty cool though, because me, I have a ton of bottles. I go to a bunch of different stores to get those bottles though. I don't just shop at one, but I know a lot of people that watch the channel, majority of the time make one place their go-to. So every time you hit your 10 bottle mark to get a free 375, that's not that bad. We'll go to the next stop, we'll see you there. Grant and I took the long journey across the street and we're at Champagne's Market. Spoke to them over the phone yesterday. I have been in this store probably over a year ago now. I've only been in here once. An amazing selection, probably one of the best in the cities, but it's very, very hard to like see what they got because it's behind a counter and it's like shelves, like the library, but hopefully they let us back there today so we can really get a good look at what they got. All right, so we're actually able to get behind the shelf, which is great to showcase all the things that they have back here. I remember last time you have to look over the counter, kind of see what they got, but then there's some glass cases over there, a ton of them, along with barrel picks that we'll check out. And from what I've seen already, it's top tier selection. Let's run through it. See if there's anything back here that we need to mention. And this looks like Irish, the Irish whiskey section for sure. Channel Irish whiskey out of New Orleans. I bet you could find some pretty old stuff back here. I bet. All right, here we go. Now we're getting into bourbon. So they also have some of the single barrel recipes that came out. OESK and OBSF. Okay, got it. And then $26.99, 1 bottle per person per day. So limit 1 per person on Buffalo Trace right there. You got handles of Sazerac rye, 39 bucks. Dude, this is such a good starter rye whiskey. I'm a huge fan. And then down here, what's that price say, Grant? 109 for the cabinet. I did just see that they're coming out with the Senator Louisiana edition, this company, but everything I've had from them is really good. It's very solid MGP. And this one, yeah, distilled in Indiana. So they have the Senator, the Representative. I've never actually seen the cabinet before. If you've had it, what did you think about it? Decadence, maple finish. So I've actually never read the label on this. Blended straight bourbon whiskey is finished in maple syrup barrels. So it's maple syrup. I've had maple wood before. I personally prefer the maple syrup barrels. I have kind of a sweet tooth, especially when it comes to whiskey. And this is a very solid one. I've only had it maybe a handful of times. I've never personally bought it, but it's always at the events that I go to, and I always go grab pours of it. Oh, this is pretty cool. It's pretty allocated. The Angel's Envy cash ring, $225.99. 118 proof. That is a low, they must have a low barrel entry proof for their distillate to go in, but I've never had this one. This is one that I have yet to honestly see. And also $225 though. I know that's probably MSRP. I just haven't pulled the trigger on something that expensive yet. I don't think ever, actually. Maybe an Armagnac I have, but never a bourbon. If you've had this though, is it worth $225? Let me know. Heaven Hill grain and glasses, fantastic price on those, $99.99. You got the rye and you got the bourbon back here. She did say they had the wheated in, but that went like that, she said. This is a copper and cask, $56.99, and it is small batch 11. 6-year, 111 proof for 57 bucks. I love this company. I don't know much about them. I'd love to do a barrel pick with them too. Tells you batch size, 21 barrels went into this batch, aged for 6 years, bottled June. So this is brand new actually. Big fan of copper and cask, and I think that's a solid price for what it is. They got the Immaculata, $270. I haven't had much from them either. I do have a bottle at home, I believe, but it's like one of the lower costing bottles. 31 bucks. Waddy Boone and Sons. What the hell is this? 94.7 proof American whiskey. It is distilled in Tennessee, bottled by Waddy Distillers. So Tennessee whiskey, Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit, 60 bucks. Kent Nelson F. That's a pretty solid bottle. And I do have to point this out because I'm a big fan of Irish whiskey, but in particular, this company, Redbreast. Look at that selection of Redbreast. I don't think I've ever seen that at one store that has this. You got the 12, you got the special edition bottle 12, the loose style, the Tawny Port, the PX, the 15, the 21, the 27 year. Honestly, I think the only one they're missing is the cash ring that I'm not seeing. Brothers Bond cash ring, 70 bucks. This used to be like an $80 or $90 bottle, so I guess they went down in price on that. The Van Dusen, batch 2 Van Dusen. Didn't even know they came out with this one. And I don't even know if I had this one at home, batch 1. But this is one of the coolest things. This is one of the coolest bottles in whiskey. I know I've said it before, but check this out. So if you look, it's a guy kayaking on a lake. If you turn it upside down, you see the owl? How cool is that? Genius, genius marketing. And it's actually really good whiskey. 70 bucks for this. That's not bad, actually. James E. Pepper decanter bottles. One of the coolest looking bottles. I absolutely love them. $58.99. It's a solid whiskey. Who makes Pepper, actually? Bottled by James Pepper. But I can't think off the top of my head what company distills their juice. If you know, let me know. We're gonna work through this one together. Look at this. What is this? Jim Beam Repeal Batch. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 86 proof. I don't know what this is. Okay, I tried to Google it. I don't know for sure. I'm gonna read that laser code again. This could be a bottle from 2008, is what I'm guessing. On the laser code, it says L8221. I think this is from 2008. I really do. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's the bottle right there. Something else I've personally never seen.
Not your father's bourbon. Bourbon whiskey with natural flavors. Bourbon whiskey with natural flavors. Let's read some more. Small town craft spirits. Like, I feel like this stuff doesn't even exist anymore. Produced and bottled by Small Town Craft, Monroe, Wyoming. It's like a treasure chest back there, huh? Come up with something new every time. The Whiskey Witch, whiskey distilled from a wheat mash. Indiana peat smoked. So they smoked peat on this. 128.8 proof, 5-year New Orleans Bourbon Festival selection. They do it all in Indiana. They distill their own. Never heard of this stuff. Davis County, limited edition, 96 proof, sour mash. Ooh, I like a sour mash. Now I'm gonna look at the codes for everything, aren't I? A28820. 2020 maybe? I don't know. K. Luke. It's got the K. Oh wow, that's batch 4. High rye, low rye blend. Which one is this? Is this an OG K. Luke? Like the bourbon? I love his early on stuff. K. Luke batch 4, 2023. So 2023 approval right there, but that's pretty cool. They got this one, and then they also got batch 3 of the toasted rye from K. Luke. Right here, let's see. Herman Marshall handcrafted small batch whiskey, Texas bourbon, okay. Never heard of these guys. Apparently they're from Louisiana. Last batch Louisiana whiskey, bottled by Bayou Terrebonne. Oh, they make their own stuff now, I think. But this isn't. Cooper's Craft, $32.99 right there. Some Bibb and Tuckers I see. Old Pepper Rye. There's a lot of stuff, man. Grant was asking right before we started filming back here, how do they even see some more of this decadence? How do they even sell stuff back here? I don't know. We might have just picked up a couple of dusties and had no clue. Let's go look at those cabinets back there and talk about their barrel picks as well. This is crazy. Ben Holiday Rickhouse Proof and the soft red wheat Rickhouse Proof right here. $63.99 for both of those. Murray Hill Club right here. $95.99 right next to the Babe Ruth. I have the new Babe Ruth at home. It's really good. The new one is, at least. And this one is $150 for Babe Ruth, Remus. And this one is 111 proof on that. Old Ezra and some Remus bottles right here. This is one that's catching my eye though immediately, is these two. More in particular, this bourbon right here is so good. And this year I think is gonna be the first time that they get into double digits. But this is the rye and the bourbon, $79.99. Last year, one of these was almost a contender for top 5 whiskey of the year for me, in my opinion. It was amazing. It was a store pick actually though, and I excluded all single barrels. I wanted to be fair because single barrels are so subjective and not everyone can get that pick from that store. So for example, if I put one of these whiskeys that's a store pick in the top 5 whiskey of the year, majority of the people that watch the channel are never gonna get to try that specific bottle. So I made sure to do batches and special releases that at least you hopefully could obtain. Some more Redbreast. Got McKenna for $62.99, the 10-year, $182.99. This is the very old St. Nick. Faith and Conviction. Yeah, I don't know. Married with something, let's see. $182.99. Damn, this company makes some high dollar stuff. And then lastly, back here, before we go to the cabinets, $32.99. Fantastic. That's probably the best price that I've seen for the Penelope Wheated. All right, this is the Scotch box, but we got boom, couple more cases, but just wanted to show you the Scotch if anybody's interested. I know there are some Scotch lovers on the channel, some more on the side right here. I do think this Ardbeg 10 might be the one that I tried with a buddy in Mississippi. I do love Glendronach cask strength, but I've never seen it. It's a pretty allocated bottle. And then behind us here, this is some of the stuff, and they did give me the key, so we can open the box. Grant's giving them back there. Bardstown Wheated right there. That was a big one too. In my video, I said if I had one whiskey to drink for the rest of my life, take rarity and exclusivity out of it, my bottle's Weller 107. A lot of y'all commented and said, Bardstown Wheated is just as good. That's your island whiskey. I don't blame you, that bottle's fantastic. Oh, and also for $42.19. Got a Screaming Titan right here. That is the Wheated from them. $63.99 coming from Redwood Empire. I absolutely love that bottle, and I do have that one at home. There's a cask strength Redwood Empire as well. That one is the Emerald Giant. Bardstown Amrut, $129 right there. Sweden's Cove, I think that's backed by Peyton Manning. Never heard of this. Benjamin Pritchard's, I said Pritchard's, like I'm from Louisiana. Pritchard's Double Barrel Bourbon Whiskey, barrel aged and bottled exclusively by, so Tennessee. Never heard of them. $100 for a 90 proof. Okay. Interesting. Might be a celebrity whiskey that I don't know about. Some more Screaming Titan. They got plenty of it here. At least a case or two worth of that. What is this? Blackland Texas Pecan Brown Sugar Bourbon. Look at that. Bourbon whiskey with brown sugar and pecans. Is it flavored? Yeah, it's less than 80 proof. It's dark. I don't think that's the bottle color. I think it is that dark. That looks nuts. Got a couple of non-alc whiskeys as well. We were having a conversation about that in the car. And then I did ask very recently on Instagram, if you're not following on Instagram, make sure you go check that out. But I asked, what is a good Japanese whiskey to start with? I really don't know. And a lot of people said Yamazaki 12, but majority of the comments was this right here, Nika, from the barrel and the coffee grain or coffee malt. I'll have to go back and see which one, but y'all said this is a pretty solid Japanese whiskey company. Some Old Elk, they got a good bit of Old Elk. A lot of Old Elk actually on both rows. Ragtime Rye, New York straight rye whiskey, bottled and bond, 42 bucks. Never heard of it before, never even seen it. Orphan Barrel, 17-year Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey for 180. That's the famed Pursuit. I have seen that on social media. Haven't heard a review on it yet or seen a review, and I'm not gonna be the first person to review it for 180. So you guys let me know first. I'm waiting for that to come across the feed before I decide. Some interesting stuff though in these cases. The Bourbon and Brew, saw that in Mississippi with a coffee spire in it. Calumet, 15. I gotta pull the trigger on that soon, eventually. I'm gonna buy a bottle of the Calumet 15 or 16. But I think I'm gonna start with the 15 because I've said it before and I'll say it again. For 125 bucks, a 15-year Kentucky bourbon, somebody told me once, if that had a Buffalo Trace label or that came out of the Buffalo Trace distillery, you wouldn't be able to find it nowhere. I think it's just hard to find something that old from Kentucky for a solid price. Some Ragged Branch down there. Old bottle, it looks like a Driftless Glen. That looks like OG. I like some of the Driftless Glen stuff. Woodford Reserve Master Collection for 121. Oh wait, almost at 121 bucks. That is $145, 121 proof, excuse me. Here's some of the High West stuff right here. High West has been crushing it this year, man. Some of their releases are killing it. 30 bucks for that, American Prairie. 30 bucks, that's a great price. In the past, I've always said I'm not that big of a Jefferson's fan, and that's okay. The Jefferson's cask strength didn't change my mind on the brand. That was just a spectacular bottle. This is probably the next best thing that I've had from Jefferson's, the rum cask finish. And to be fair, nope, I've had it twice now that I think about it. I was gonna say, to be fair, the bottle I had was a single barrel. That was the first time I ever tried it. They did a single barrel pick of it. Second time was just the standard rum cask. It is very good. Speaking of, look at this. I cannot believe they still have that. The cask strength. Couldn't find it anywhere. Still haven't found it anywhere. If you've watched some of my past videos, I can't find that bottle. I do have one at home. I gotta go see when I get home how full it is, because I might come back and grab that, if not before this video releases. Because I know people are gonna come. Riverset, I've never heard of Riverset before, I don't think. BR Distilling Company for 26 bucks. Ranch Straight Bourbon Whiskey made in Texas, 95 proof for 30 bucks. High West Campfire for the birds. All right, Green River, you got foolproof bourbon, wheated rye. Look at that price, 30 bucks. Dude, that's why I swear by it. It is one of the best starters. What is this, dude? McCormick? Who drinks that? Huh? If you watch this channel and you drink that, please comment so we can talk. We need to chat. What is McCormick? I thought that was a McCormick, like the grill company. I thought it was showing you a piece of meat on the label for a second there. Some Ben Holiday, more of the Brickhouse proofs. Is that 6 year? Yeah, 6 year, 63 bucks. And then the store picks, the Tower of Picks. We got an Angel Envy pick for $91.99 right there. Did they change bottles or what? I actually like the look of this bottle a little better than the Shelfer. 110 proof on this one. Coming here, these are normally a great price, $44.99, Old Scout. This is so, look, you get a 7-year age-stated product coming in at cask strength, I'm assuming. It's 105 proof for 44 bucks. And it's a store pick. I like some of the Old Scout stuff I've had too. You'll never be disappointed for spending that on a store pick. Heaven's Door, I've had a couple of them, couple of picks that have blown me away. Regular Heaven's Door is okay, but this stuff's good. Oh, 2 for 104 or 1 for $57. Not bad. Old Elk, that's an Old Elk pick for same special if you look right there. Knob Creek, is this a 10-year? It's a 10-year. 10 years and 1 month. 120 proof, 50 bucks. That ain't bad. If I could taste it. Some of these Knob 10-year picks that I've been trying recently have been killer. Older Maker's Mark pick. That's the barrel profile on that one. And right now, it's $75.99 or 2 for $136. The Rabbit Hole collection up there, those are cool. You could work with artists to kind of create a special release for your barrel pick. I think that's interesting. Whistle Pig Piggyback, $52.99. Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof, 127.9 proof, 56 bucks. Without tasting any of them, Old Scout, that bottle right there, Jack, those would come home. If I was in a store and couldn't taste them. Also, they got baskets too. I guess bourbon wise, the big one would be this right here, a single barrel basket. So it looks like you get that, the Orleans spray, a couple of Fireball shooters, some napkins and stuff. And each package is different obviously, but I know that during the heavy allocation season, they put out some serious heat out here when it comes to these baskets. How could we pass this up, Grant? Dude, how many times, if you've watched the past few videos, since Grant and I had this in New Orleans, I have been chasing this bottle. Couldn't find it anywhere. This is hands down the best pre-made anything I've ever had. And I'm not that big of I don't drink coffee every morning like most people. I actually never drink coffee. But my God, was that good. Looking for anything in particular? I gotta grab this. The new Penelope Black Walnut Old Fashioned came out. I've tried the peach. We got to smell the peach. You got to at least. They didn't have any left. I tasted it. It was pretty good, but Black Walnut Old Fashioned, that sounds really, really good. And I haven't seen any reviews yet because it just hit the shelves, what, maybe a week ago y'all got this?
Yeah, about a week.
About a week, so I'm gonna grab this for sure. All right, y'all, so we're done with today's bourbon hunt. Let's talk about a little bit what we got. Inside the car is the Crown Royal chocolate whiskey from the first video across the street. Inside of Champagne's there. We were just talking off camera. That was actually one of the funnest bourbon hunts I've had in a while. That was really, really fun and entertaining to me too. I was seeing things that I've never seen before, pulling out bottles, but you can go home with this for sure. The new Penelope Walnut Old Fashioned, Black Walnut Old Fashioned, and then I did grab this because I just had like a feeling about it. And if I'm completely wrong, that's okay. We can put it in the infinity barrel, but for 18 bucks, I grabbed this Old Bardstown. Now, I think the new Old Bardstown is distilled by Willett. This one doesn't say that. It says distilled in Kentucky, bottled in historic Bardstown. Yeah, that's it. It doesn't really say what distillery does it. I grabbed this one. I'm not sure if it's an old label or an older bottle or an old dusty, but that's what we got today. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really want to give a huge shout out and thank you to our Patreon supporters. We got a ton of barrel picks lined up coming soon. So make sure you also check that out in the bio as well. And we'll see you guys in the next one.